Welcome to another episode of Uncomfortable Guys. This is episode 6.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure why I said episode 6. This is definitely episode 7. Must have had a high moment, but back to the episode.
And I got my guest here with me. I got my friend here, Lynette. So, Lynette, introduce yourself. Let them know.
Hello, y'all. My name is Lynette. I've been rocking with Mia since high school.
Yes. Another Scalinite.
Yes, ma'am.
Got another one.
Yeah.
So, Lynette's been moving around a lot. So, I haven't seen Lynette in a really long time, actually.
Yeah.
So, you could take us along that road of where you've been at for the couple of months,
It's been about like half a year.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. In September, I felt that, the best time to make a major life change was in the middle of a pandemic. So I quit my job. I got a job in the middle of nowhere in Texas.
Right. I remember that.
Put all my stuff in my car, took my dog, drove 30 hours down to Texas. I was down there for about 2-3 months, and it just wasn't working for me.
Right.
It wasn't serving me. Like, it just wasn't up to my worth and what I felt like was necessary for me to be happy.
Yeah.
So I moved out to Maryland with my childhood best friend, and it was great living with her. Like, I appreciated her so much for welcoming me, and also me being able to spend time with my goddaughter, but also the situation with my job and finding a career. It just wasn't happening.
Working for you,
I just wasn't getting paid for my time, my value, and my college degree was screaming at me, like, what's wrong with you? So I moved back to New York, and then everything just started falling into place. And working well. And it's good to be back.
Good to be back, right?
So and I also want to preface this by saying I'm so happy to be doing this with you. Like, I'm so proud of you and everything you're doing and your growth, and also just
thank you.
Yeah, giving this voice to uncomfortable topics. And when I listen to your episodes, I want to jump in and I want to join the conversation. I'm so happy to be able to join now.
That's literally like why I started this. Like, I just wanted to like have conversations with people that like
that no one talks about.
that nobody talks about, that are really uncomfortable things that like I feel like the world should have more like just conversations about, especially in this generation. So
more exposure.
More exposure. Which brings us to our topic today. So I don't know how to start this. This one is a little heavy today.
Disclaimer, we're just gonna jump into it.
Disclaimer,
it's uncomfortable.
Yes. So if you want to start, just anywhere.
So I think this is something that has to be eased into, because a lot of people aren't ready to have this conversation, or even think about this in their light, or in comparing it to experiences. But I feel like everyone, to a certain degree, and kudos to you if you're lucky enough to not experience just sexual trauma. I think it's just something has been rampant, and at least it's called more attention to in our generation, and it's something that we're not shedding light on or looking in its ugly face, and it's causing a lot of issues.
Yeah.
And between, personal, relationship, everything.
Mental, emotional, everything,
Yeah. And I was actually this occurred to me recently.
Sure,
it's funny how when you get older, you start thinking about things that happened to you, and you're like, that wasn't quite right.
Right, like or I didn't like the way that happened.
Like the time when you were a little girl and your mom told you to put on pants because the men felt uncomfortable in your family that you were wearing short shorts while you're a 12-year-old, and just how. I was talking to my bro about this the other day, and I think like after I said it, I kind of was like, "Whoa, I'm sorry, I got too deep." And he looked at me like he didn't know how to react.
Right.
I was just saying a stream of thought, and I was like, like when I've been in a situation with a man where we were like starting to get intimate, or were like, at least alone together.
Yeah.
And it started leading towards the direction of a sexual experience. Yeah. And I wasn't really on board with it. And I had voiced it to him, and I was like, I'm not really feeling it. I kind of want to wait. But he kind of pushed it, the topic. And from the sheer just, what if I say no?
Yeah.
And he still does it.
type of vibe was on your mind instead of I just should just say no.
Just say no. And it's great. Like thinking back, I'm like, why didn't I just say no? He probably would have been like, okay, that's fine, cool. Yeah. We can just chill.
Yeah.
But in my head, I was like, it would be more traumatic for me to say no
and he still try. Exactly. Which I think like a lot of women go through. I'm speaking from my experience as well. Like where you just feel like sometimes like not that it's like you feel like you're being forced, but you feel pressure kind of to not say
and it's that gray area.
And it's that gray area where you're just like, well, I mean, like, what if? And you think about the what ifs, and so for some reason they weigh more than you just saying no. Like, I don't know what that shit is about. Like, and it's like, it's funny to say it because like at the time you don't think that, but after it happens, you think about it. Like, I really could have just said no,
and I would have felt way better.
I would have felt way better. I wouldn't feel how I feel now. The situation would be over, and then that would just be it. I would know that that's not something I'm ever gonna get myself into.
Yeah,
but I already did.
And I know at least with me, when I would go through with it, and afterwards I would feel disgusted. And not just with myself, but with the man. I would probably never speak to him again. And like it didn't have to be like that. Right. And it's like partially a me thing and me being aware of that, but it's also like we gotta teach our men better. Like
we gotta teach our men better, and also we as women need to like be taught as well. Like that it's okay to just say no, and that it's fine. Like even if you feel like you say no and they're gonna do something back, like you just have to like I don't even know.
Like that's the
scary part. But
that's the scary part, and it's like you have no control over that because whether you were to say, and it's also like if I were to say no and he would have still done it. If I would have said nothing, he would have still done it either way.
Yeah.
So that's almost like, I mean, that I also think that comes into play because of what I've been through in my past, and like having that actually happen to you. Yeah. So that like me not wanting to repeat that situation in my head.
That's the way you feel like that's the best way to like avoid that.
Yeah, the avoidance instead of just because I've said no.
Yeah.
And I've had that. Just pushed to the side. And it was just so much more dramatic. But that's like, man, it's not good. Like,
no,
it's not
okay. Yeah,
no, like only negative will come from that.
Right. Yeah. And you know, I feel like sexual trauma, sexual assault is not like it's just not spoken about, and it happens a lot. Like it happens a lot. Like I even had some statistics that I wrote down from like just reading some scholarly notes, and it says across 1 in 3 women, which is around like they're saying 736 million, are subjected to some type of physical or sexual violence, either from their partner or just somebody they know, and that's a lot. Like you feel me? That's a lot. If that's a lot.
Yeah. If it was a statistic, like for example. The vaccine, if they were like, all right, 1 in 3 people is gonna die,
which is 736, that's a lot.
You would never get that vaccine.
Yeah, right.
Like it's
just a lot. Like you know,
ridiculous.
And the thing is, it's not only women either. Men get raped as well.
Yeah,
men get sexually
100%.
assaulted. You know, they definitely go through the same thing. It says here that at least 24.8 of men experience that.
Yeah,
so and that's a lot. Like
poor babies, because they especially. There's no open space for them to talk about that.
It, yeah.
No one will take them seriously. And I'm not saying no one's gonna take them serious, because if a man came to me or you, of course we would hold that with a heavy heart. But
it's not something that's like talked about often and widespread. Like
you know, like you're a man, of course you want to have sex with her.
Anyway, yeah.
Or you're a gay man, of course you want to have sex with him. Or if it's a man on man and one of that men is the one getting assaulted, raped is a man, then it's like, oh, you're gay.
Yeah.
So there's so many different layers with men.
Yeah. So if you want, like, how do you? Okay, so I don't know. It's such a like.
It's very uncomfortable.
A lot. No, yeah, it's even it's not. I don't want to say it's uncomfortable for me. It's just like I've never been in a situation like that's happened to me. So I'm trying to like
and that's so amazing.
Yeah, I'm grateful. But if you want, we could start with how.
Okay. Yes. So there was 2 instances, which. So the first one, I was a freshman in college. Okay. I was actually talking to this guy for a few weeks, and I was in school like upstate. I was like, you know, this is cool. Like, I want to like come see me.
Yeah.
So he comes and sees me and we're like hanging out, and like I preface everything and I'm like, you know, I just want to take things slow. Like, I just want to, you know, hang out, get to know each other more. Yeah. Like, I just...
Nothing more than that.
Nothing more than that. Exactly.
Just like making it clear before anything else.
Very clear. Yes. Because I was like, you know what? Let me not give him the wrong impression. And he was like, okay, that's fine. Like, we can take it slow. No worries. Like, you know, there's time for that. And it's crazy because like this man was over here crying to me about his father and like,
oh my God,
bro, I shouldn't. And I felt like he was also a little crazy. Like, I don't know.
Something was not
excuse. Yeah. So it's so like messed up thinking back at it. And I just have to, it's really hard for me to think back and speak about something without discounting myself or not making excuses, but just like I have to just say it and be like, you know, that's what it was.
Really what it was, yeah.
And it was an unfortunate thing to happen. It was a traumatic thing to happen. I have to like be able to accept that. And I also want to preface all of this with, if someone, a woman, man, comes to you and it gets vulnerable enough to tell you about their sexual trauma.
Yeah.
If you are going to be, first of all, devil's advocate, I think it's complete bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, someone felt this way and it's a very intense, valid feeling. Don't discount their experience. Yeah. Victim blaming is so widespread. That's why, like,
a lot of people don't speak up. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an open book. But I really have to feel you out before I tell you this.
Yeah.
Because it causes me more trauma. Yeah. If I tell you and you say he thought, like, you know.
Yeah.
Makes excuses for him and tries to justify the man's actions where there's no justification of that. And I keep getting sidetracked.
It's okay.
So pretty much, okay, we're back in the room. And it's crazy because my roommate and the guy she was dealing with at the time, like, I was a freshman. She had one side of the room, I had the other side of the room. Yeah. We were in the same room. I could have yelled out. I could have tried to wake them up, but I didn't. So he pretty much asked me, like, oh, you want to do the thing? And I was like, no.
No, right.
Bro, this man punches the wall, gets up, grabs a condom, puts it on, and then proceeds.
Wow.
And then turns around and goes to sleep. And then I'm over here like this on the side of the bed, like, what?
Yeah, like, what just happened?
Yeah,
like,
and it kills me because my mother was always like, you know, I don't want anything to happen to you when you go away to college. You're going to be dorming. Freshman year.
Yeah.
That happens.
So, the first year you get to college. Like, that's the experience that you have.
Exactly.
You know?
And then it's crazy because I drove him from the bus stop. So this man is stranded in my college. Yes, I could have, like, called the cops, get him escorted, but I also didn't want a bigger deal on top of this. Like, I woke up.
You were just already thinking about so much.
Yeah, and, like, I smelled like him, and I took a shower, and I was like, I want to get everything. Like, I washed my sheets. I was like, we're going to the bus station right now. Didn't say nothing to him. And then I dropped him off at the bus station. I told him to fuck himself, and I gave him the middle finger. And then he texted me my address. And it's like, it says something threatening about, like, me and my family. And I'm like, yo, not only did you do this, but you're gonna threatening my family.
And did you know him before that? Like, you...
I knew him a little bit. I knew someone who knew him.
Okay.
So it was like, I asked my friend, I was like, oh, you know so-and-so? And she was like, yeah, like, I know him. Like, he's all right.
Yeah.
It'd be your bros. I mean, that wasn't her bro, but it'd be like...
It'd be people that you wouldn't expect. People that know people, yeah.
These are regular people walking the street.
Yeah.
So, so that happened. And then, you know, I was, like, hysterical. And my friend called the cops. And the cops came... The cops came out to us. I told him what happened. And he was like, oh, there's so many people with that name. We're never going to be able to find him. Never even offered for me to write a report. He said, oh, you should be more careful. You did it to yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
You see,
he's like, oh, you invited this guy over? Like,
You see,
you should have known what you were doing.
And that's the thing. It's like, just because I invited someone over, just because I
slept with this person.
Yes, just because I
had this person in my bed,
in my house or in my room, it doesn't mean that that's what that was gonna go, where it was gonna go. And even if it did, it should have been my choice too. You feel me? Like,
especially because I prefaced that with saying, and I never changed that answer. I never said, you know what, let's do it, or I never even gave him the body language, or like
you was never giving no type of vibe that that's what it was.
No, like none of that. And like, I hate the fact that I feel like I have to explain myself, and people would be like, it's
like that you wouldn't be just believe. Like, why would somebody? I mean, but you know, some women lie about shit like that. You feel me?
And it's great. Like, I really,
which gives the women that do tell the truth such a bad rep. It's like, I feel bad for the men that women do that for.
Yeah. Like, and I'm not over here trying to make false claims on nobody. And even like the gray area, like, I'm not, if like what we were talking in the beginning of the episode, I'm not trying to call anyone out and call them like a terrible person, because they may truly not know that they're doing something wrong, even though you should know. You should know. Yeah. But in this case, like, you know. Yeah. I'm like, if you don't get the green light, go.
That means no. Yeah. That means you know that you don't stop.
Why would you even? And then, so that was my freshman year. So now fast forward to about a year ago, and this kind of rocked me even more, because I had already been through that. I'm older now and I'm an adult. I have grown as a person. Like, I'm
kind of trying to heal from that.
Exactly. And I've been to therapy and everything, and like, therapy is great. Right. I recommend therapy. I'm trying to get back to my therapist right now, but she moved, so I need a therapist.
I'm crying. Everybody needs therapy.
Everybody, especially y'all men, get therapy.
We all need therapy. Yo, get therapy.
Get therapy. Only does good.
Yes.
So the second time, so I met this couple.
Okay.
And had a what is it?
What did
Jada say?
An entanglement.
I had an entanglement.
Okay.
And our first interaction was cool. It was like, that was an experience. Right. Everyone was on board. Everyone was on the same page. And then I was like, I was talking to the girl, and she's like, you know, like, come visit, like, come see us again. Right. So we did that. And the first night that I got there, the vibe was just off. Like, I felt like she wasn't on board anymore. And like, I respected her a lot. And so the first night, me and him got intimate, and she was there. And like, you know, everything was squared away.
Right.
Then the second day, I just don't feel good about it. And like, I woke up and I had plans to like take a shower and then leave. And then I had told him, like, you know, I don't feel like being touched. Right. Like, just leave me alone. And I had said it straight like that. So I'm like, bro, I don't want to be touched.
Right.
How much more honest can I get?
Yeah.
How much more blatant can I get?
Do you have to say it? Yeah.
Exactly. And then on top, like, after that, he was like, okay. And then he kept trying. And I was like, no. I said no so many times. And he still did. And
it's okay, take your time. It's okay.
I don't know if I want to expose him.
It's like okay, you don't have to. Yeah. It's whatever you're comfortable with. Like,
it was, so that happened. And actually, a result of that, I get so like, in this, it took me a while to put two and two together. When I had consensual sex after that, it hurt a lot. And like, it was because I was so tense from this past, like, it might not even be in my mind, but I was so tense from this that I was just tensing up so much that it was just really painful. And this is, to this day, is still going on. So, And that, like, it just really, and it's, you know, sometimes there'll be triggers. Like, when, like, I love the Me Too movement, but it's triggering. It's talking about that is triggering. This is triggering. Like, it's something that you live with every day. You forget about it some days, but it's something that
sometimes just creeps up on you. Something you just, like, just off the random.
And it's also about the power is being taken away from you. Like, when that happens, you feel like you have no rights to your body. Like, you don't even have control over yourself.
And I feel like as women, we already feel like that. So that happening is just like a double down.
Like, I have nothing left.
Like, now I have nothing left.
Nothing.
Like, nothing. I've been stripped of everything.
And it's so messed up because, like, I don't go around telling everyone this, but when I feel like I am close enough with a person, or especially someone I'm dealing with, like, this is a part of me and this is a reason why I am who I am. I want to share that with you and give you that rationale. I'll tell someone and they'll make a joke about it, or they'll victim blame, or they'll be devil's advocate, or they'll try to rationalize the man's actions because they don't want to accept that something traumatic happened to me. Where I'm like, I'm just telling you, and literally all I want you to say is I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm sorry that you went through that. That's it. You know, like, there's nothing.
I don't need anything else. I feel like
else.
There's nothing else to say. Like, you feel me? Like,
there's literally, like, if
else.
nothing's gonna make me feel better, you could try to make me feel better. You could try to, like, you're not gonna help me with that. Only me and therapy. Gonna help me with that. And all I want you to know is be aware of what happens. And so what that means to me.
So you tell people that you're either going to be intimate with, or you feel like you're going somewhere with, you share that with them when you feel comfortable, that, you know, something has happened to me that,
and not everyone, because not everyone deserves to know that. But I also feel like it's such a taboo thing. Like, I don't want to tell everyone because they don't deserve to know, but it's also like, why not? If like something like this, like, it could help someone or relate to someone, or like, I just want to open the field and make this more of a normal conversation to have with your friends.
Or even just your loved ones, or somebody just to tell. Because I feel like
it's so heavy.
When the Me Too movement happened, like, on Twitter, I feel like it was so crazy, because it was like people that you see tweet every day, people that you would never, not even say never, you would never think, but holding on to this thing that, you know, is so heavy, like, you know, because it's like sometimes you can't talk about it and you have no one to talk about it to. And it's such a heavy thing to happen. You know, I feel like we've all been in situations, whether you've not even been to the point where you've been sexually assaulted, where you just been touched when you didn't want to,
or you know, had a comment when you didn't want
or a disgusting comment, like, to be that physical. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it could just be
verbal, unwanted, that we've all probably experienced it. But it's like, you know, obviously when it gets to physical, that's a whole nother, like, notch, a whole nother violation. You know, and I feel like we were saying before, most of the time people don't want to say that, you know, that R word. Like, yes, I've been raped. Like, I somebody I was close to, somebody I knew raped me. And it's changed me, and
forever.
Obviously I'm not going to be the same person after being through something so traumatic, something that you know, left me feeling so powerless. It's going to be hard for me to feel like I have that power back. It's going to take me some time, you know.
And that's a reason why I feel like it's really hard for me to create emotional attachments to men. I feel disgusted with men if after a sexual act, more than like is before, normal. Which isn't really normal anyway. But and it's like, it's not even like, I like these people, and I feel disgusted, and it's just like I was gonna say something, I lost my train of thought.
It's okay.
And
it's okay. I was gonna ask you though, how do you feel like, you know, going through those experiences has affected you with men today, and like how you dive into your relationships with men, or even how you approach men, or how you see them? You know, like, how does that work for you now?
So I definitely have much more of a wall up, and it's very easy for me to like cut off my emotions, and it's, I don't know, like I don't even want to really be with someone. Like, it's, I find myself like, I'll like someone and then I'll just, you know, I'll be like, ugh. And it's like, I don't even want it to be that way.
And do you feel like it's because of those experiences? Like,
I feel like that has to do with it. Yeah. And it's just, I don't know, it's hard for me
to just get it is to gain that attachment, I guess. To even feel that, but you feel like you want to feel.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna say.
Okay.
It was gonna be bothering me this entire time.
If you didn't say it.
So it's a funny thing, and I don't know if I'm not exactly sure if it really like relates to my trauma, but it's extremely hard for me to orgasm. I had my first one when I was 22.
Your first orgasm when you were 22?
First, yeah, and I've been active before then.
That's terrible.
And even to the also the quality of partners is not that great.
Okay, yeah,
it's
little seed.
Not that great.
Okay.
But I also find myself, I'll get to the edge,
but never there.
I won't let myself flow over, if that makes sense.
Do you feel like you don't want yourself to feel good from sex because you felt so much trauma from it that you don't feel like you want to feel the good?
I can feel nothing. I can, if I put it, I put my mind, and not even if I put my mind if I don't put my mind to feeling good, I'll feel nothing.
Wow.
And it's definitely in my head.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah,
it just takes in. It's just too traumatic.
I have to almost convince myself, and I could be having a good time, and even like with myself, it's hard to like let myself go. And even I find that with drinking too. Like drinking, I'll get to a certain point, but I won't let myself go or let myself lose that control. Yeah, and I'm also very uncomfortable around drunk men. Like even
because
my past
relationship,
he would get drunk and I was just like I just wouldn't trust them. And guys would always be like, "Oh, you want to drink? You want to go out to get drinks?" Not really. Yeah, that's.
And it's terrible that you know that stigma is around drinking, that like, you know, like you have to be careful when you're drinking around men, or even like when we're told when we're young girls, like, I don't know, I'm pretty sure your mom told you, my mom told me, when you go to a party, if somebody put your cup down, do not pick that shit up, like, you know what I'm saying, like leave that cup right there, like, because somebody might root for you or like drug you or date rape you. It's just like
it's like I shouldn't have to be worried about these things, that and let's do better with our men, because it's teach them. It's, I'm not going to say half, I'm going to say it's mainly then, because it's just the lack of education and lack of talking. Like no one talks to men about how you should treat women. Like they know about sex. Yeah. They know about sex, but they don't know about like being nice to a girl. Or
not like saying that they only know about sex, but like, you know, like
I don't want to generalize men. As well.
But like, you know, like
a vast majority,
most I would be friends with little boys and little girls. Like that's not something we have a discussion about. Like when you're little, like a little, your parents don't be like, oh, a little, even your aunts, your cousins don't be like, oh, that's your little friend. It's always like, that's your little girlfriend, that's your little boyfriend. Like, no, let's normalize being like, that's your little friend, so we can normalize platonic relationships between men and women, and not letting them know since as children it doesn't have to be sexual. Like, you feel me? Like you can be friends with a male and then not be
you can
sexual.
Just be friends. You could be that could be your homeboy. And you know what's also really weird to me? Grown women, and well, it's mainly grown women. Yeah. Saying that the boys
are handsome.
Children. No. Are their boyfriends? Oh, like, miss, you're 32 years old and you're saying this 4-year-old or this 6-year-old is your boyfriend? Yeah. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I haven't been around many kids. Yeah. Like in I get what
you're saying though. Like it does create that little a weird relationship. I don't know. It's just weird to me, and I feel like as men should be taught that, you know, no is no, because it's like it shouldn't be a thing where it's like, oh, it's debatable, or I could like try, or like I could.
Oh, if she says maybe no, I can ask two more times, ask like 5 more times, and if she says yes, then she definitely wants to do it. Like no, you're just annoying. And sometimes it's like, you know, you're being so annoying that I would rather just get it over with. Yeah.
And it's like,
just get it over with.
And I have that gray area sometimes where I'm just like, I'm thinking about like whether or not, like, all right, so say like I'm in a situation with a guy and like, you know, he asked me if I wanted to have sex and I said no, but like I want to kiss and like, I want to like touch and stuff, but I don't
gonna lead
yeah,
to
but
that.
you know, like I don't want to have sex and I said that. So I feel like just because we're kissing and doing other stuff doesn't mean we have to have sex. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to lead that way, especially if I already voiced that. It could just be there. Like it doesn't have to lead to other things. And I feel like you get
intimate and
and I feel like you feel like bad, not bad, well, yeah, bad.
Guilty.
Or sometimes you feel guilty because you're just like, well, I guess I started kissing him and we started this, so I guess I should just do it. Like because, you know, like it's gonna happen anyway, or like something like that. Like I just it's a lot of like gray areas when it comes to like sexual things, but
and you don't have to like the gray areas don't have to be like, oh, you're a rapist.
It's just
no, you should just
respect my decision and say if I say I don't want to do that, you know, until I say physically in my mouth like I want to and I'm okay with and yes, let's do this. You feel me? Then it's like, okay, that's different. But I didn't say that, so I feel like it becomes this thing where it's just like, well, I don't know, damn, like what do I do now? Like, you know, when you're in situations like that, sometimes you just your nerves get the best of you, your thoughts get the best of you, you just go do things, fight or flight. Yeah, like you just do things without thinking and you don't really be thinking 9 times out of 10, like I should just say no and that should just be it. Like it should be over with. You know? But yeah, like I've never really experienced any type of sexual assault and I don't feel like I really know that many people that have, and I don't really know that many people that have and that speak about it. You know, that speak about it. You probably know people that have, and just don't speak about it and they don't feel comfortable speaking about it. And I feel like it sucks that we don't have more coverage on it and we don't have more like support groups and we don't have more. It could help
people heal more if we talk about it. Also, I want to say there's also great men out there. Like I've been with guys who we've been kissing. We've literally been
intimate,
naked, completely. And we would we would go for it, and then I'd be like, you know what, no. And then he would be like, okay, and we would just chill, and we wouldn't do it, or we would still continue to be intimate, and we wouldn't do it. And we've literally been inches away, and I've said, no, actually, no, I don't want to do this.
And they just respect your decision.
And they're like, yeah, that's totally fine.
And let me just tell you something. Like when you do
things,
that's
the norm. That's how I know that everything else is fucked up, because that I've seen that it can happen.
Right. And let me just say, like 9 times out of 10, like that for me as a woman, that would turn me on more. Like that you respect the fact that I don't.
In a few hours or a few days, we will say yes. All you have to do is wait, bro. Now I'm never going to talk to you again. And I feel like you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. Now you're a dub. Like, because you, instead of you not respecting my decision, you made me feel uncomfortable. And, you know, you violated. You made me feel powerless even for that little bit of time. Like, fuck that. I'm not going to talk to you ever again type of shit.
And if you ever, like, discount my feelings when I express that to you, every single man who I've told, even like brushed around the subject and hasn't reacted what serves me in a, you know, positive way, or like they've discounted my feelings or my experience, you're a dub. I'm never seeing you again.
Yeah.
Never. I'm never taking you serious. I lose so much respect for you. Or if you even speak about it, or how about this? I didn't even tell you what happened to me. There's a situation that comes up or something in the news and you talk poorly about it. Disgusting.
Wow.
Respect.
Like as soon as, like if something came up with somebody else and you said it's just always this thing where it's like, oh, I don't believe this person. I don't know. I just feel like because I said before, sometimes women do lie about
they do,
being
and
raped.
It's terrible.
And it's terrible because I feel like it ruins lives. Really ruins.
You can't say that. And not mean it because their life is ruined
and not have any consequences. And it takes that moment. It takes one moment to find out how somebody truly is, and you won't even think about it. But it'll take that one moment for you to be like, oh shit, like
people have been married to murderers, like okay, and he would be the sweetest person to you.
Yep, but that's a fact. He's still a murderer, and it's just it's too much for me. Like I get like super like it just I'm mind boggled by it.
My heart aches for every woman every woman and man that has been through this in any degree. Like especially like people that I know and that I hold dear to me, and like I wish I could just take the pain away from them. Like I just wish I could extract that memory. Which was crazy. I don't even remember their names because I blocked out that memory.
Your brain.
When I think about it, I can remember their names, but I get mad at myself because I'm like, I don't want to remember what they look like. I don't want to remember their names.
Yeah.
They are a ink blot in my memory. Yeah. And I try to make it that way, which may or may not be
the healthiest.
Problematic. Yeah. Right. May not be the healthiest. But for the time being, that makes it more bearable.
And do you feel like when you went to therapy, like it was easier to like face your trauma, speaking to somebody that you didn't know and someone that you feel like didn't have any ties to you, like personally, like you're just.
Yeah, I think that therapy definitely made me. Well, first they said like that's a terrible thing that happened to you, and really really affirmed like that's a terrible thing to happen, like, and that's a lot to go through, and let's learn ways to cope with that. Right. And my first therapist when I was in college was really great, and she was just very understanding, very relatable. My other one was she was really great too, but I was almost like, I know, like, to tell me how to deal with this shit. Because this shit is like killing me inside. Yeah. Like the anxiety and depression is crushing me. Yeah. Help.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it is. And when that trigger, and it's like when you get triggered and it's like, I don't even want to, and this is also a me thing because I don't like to make my problems like heavy. Like I always feel like there's someone out there
going through worse.
It worse. Exactly. Like I don't want to, I'm the one that people come to and tell me about their issues. Like for me, like I honest to God, like I have friends that I hold near and dear to my heart and I love them very much and I would share a lot with them, but if this is bothering me, like especially with my sexual trauma, I won't talk to them about it. And like I feel bad, but at the end of the day, that's my decision that I don't want to talk to them about it. And I also feel like it's something that I don't want to put that responsibility of them feeling like they have to help me with it because they can't. Yeah. Like sometimes your friends can't help you through your issues. You need.
Not with everything, and also not with certain things that they maybe not have been through. And it's just like sometimes you don't know what to say. Like if you've never been through something.
If you say the wrong thing, I don't want to get upset about that.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to say something and it's not the way you meant it, and or it's not right, and it's so it's like you don't want to put that pressure on them. I understand completely, but and how do you feel like you've learned from this? Like what has something that you've learned from this experience? Like, and I don't mean to say like obviously being raped makes me like you can learn anything from that, but I'm just saying like going through a trauma, like something so deep, like what have you learned about yourself and stuff like that?
I definitely have learned one, like to put myself in less positions that would create that circumstance, which is not saying like I shouldn't, like I don't know, but it's saying like don't be alone with someone that you like fully know and trust, or even, but it's also messed up because people that you know and trust can do that to you, but it lowers the ratio. So definitely putting yourself in less situations that would create that outcome, knowing who to open up to about it, and just having different expectations of what you're going to receive from that definitely strengthening me. Like I'm a stronger person because of it, and I view the world differently, even though it's not the best or the most healthy at times, but it's definitely, it's molded who I am as a person. And I always say like I can have regrets, but I can't take it back. I can't take back what happened, so I have to live with it. I'm not gonna lie, for the most part I am in denial about it, and I don't think about it. And
do you feel like that's a problem? Do you feel like you should address it more and that you should dig deep into it more so that you could heal from it more and have it less of an undeniable thing and more of a awareness thing? Like I'm aware that it happened, but boom.
Yeah, I think yes and no. Like no by I don't want to think about it a lot. Yes by it's definitely something that I should address more and come to realizations, because I'm still feeling the impact of it now. I still get triggered. I still have pain from, you know, intercourse, and that's not normal.
Right.
I still have these unhealthy defense mechanisms. I want to be able to be in a healthy relationship, and I want to be able to, you know, be confident with myself and not worry about these things. So I definitely feel like that's something I should address. But
it's hard. It's hard. And it's a process. So just know that, like, you know, like, nothing is easy, and especially something like this. So if it's gonna take you years, it's gonna take you years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no
living with it for the rest of my life anyway.
You're living with it for the rest of your life. There's no blueprint to like how to figure out your life after you've been raped and after you've been sexually assaulted and after someone has made you feel powerless in that way. There's no way to heal that. You know what I mean? There's no quick way. It's gonna take its time, and then that's it. But you know,
and like, if I can help anyone by, you know, opening myself up and being very vulnerable, because this is a very vulnerable thing to say.
Yes, for sure.
To
like,
the public
to
eye.
The public eye, yes.
And I want to say, like, let be you know, easy with me, everybody.
Yes. I want to let you know, like, you're so brave for even speaking about it. Like, you know, like, I know you're saying you're in denial about it, but just you coming on this platform, like, you know, knowing that this is going to go somewhere where other people might see it that you don't know, people that you do know.
I hope it invokes those conversations.
I hope so too. I hope it invokes those conversations. I hope it invokes.
Or, like, makes people realize that this is real, or realize that even they might be the problem, and not like, and just like starting to be a problem, or just, I don't know, like have more self-awareness and know that this, like you said with the statistic earlier, like 1 in 3 girls.
Yeah.
So this is,
it happens
rampant and widespread, and we might as well help each other. I don't know. And if not, speak to your friends, speak to a therapist.
Yeah, speak to somebody.
A professional. And I really feel like professionals are the best way to go, because sometimes your friends can't help you in the way you need. Sometimes your boyfriend can help you in the way you need. And
I think that's something we should also accept too, that sometimes you can't help everybody with everything. Like, sometimes you don't always, you could be there. Yeah. Support is always needed, you know, support is always needed, but sometimes we don't have the answers to everything, you know? So it's like, you don't force yourself to try to be there for someone when you can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is tough, because, you know, your friend, something like that happens to your friend, then you want to tear down the wall. You know what I mean? Like, you want to go crazy. You
want to hurt somebody.
Yeah, you know, like, it's not something easy, you know. I definitely feel like situations like that are just so, like, me thinking about it scares me. Like, it gives me chills. It makes me want to, you know, like, I've been scared before in situations with men, but, you know, it never escalated to that point. But I know how I felt before that point. Yes, you know, so it's like, for it to be escalated, or for it to go a different way, is just like, you know, it's too much. And I already battle myself mentally a lot, I feel like. So I feel like something like that would tear me apart. Like, it would eat at me, you know, because it's going to just be one of those things that, you know, like, we all are human. So sometimes we just have shit just pop up in our mind.
You be walking down the street and then you're like, oh my God,
yeah, trauma. Like, you just like, you know, like, you just think about shit, and that one is heavy. You know, imagine you walk on a date with some guy and he touches your shoulder and just like, no, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know?
Yeah, I've had guys touch me, or before, like, the sound of a condom would trigger me. And it's crazy, because I once was in a consensual relation. Like, we were in the act. It was consensual. I wanted to. Girl, I started crying.
When he opened the condom?
No, like, during the act. I mean, it started when he opened the condom.
Yeah.
And then during the act, I was crying. And with no happy tears, but I still, like, I wanted what was happening, but I, like, had to stop. I had to, like, put my hand. You know what's crazy? Put my hand on him. He saw what was happening, and he stopped.
Wow.
And we stopped, and we talked about it. And you know what's crazy? Later that night, did it, and we're fine. Okay. But in that instance, we were in the midst of it.
Yeah.
homeboy stopped, sat down.
That just lets you know that some men know. Yeah, like it's possible.
It's
like
not impossible.
It's not impossible. Like men be knowing, like, you know. And shout outs to those men that, you know, that
shout out to you're a good
that
person.
Sympathize and have that compassion to understand that women go through shit like this and how to be with a woman who's gone through something like that.
And you have to take it easy with them. You gotta be slow.
And that's
lots of communication.
Yes.
Like,
and a lot of patience. Okay?
A lot of patience. I know, like, some days will be good. Some days, like, you touch us and we'll be like, oof, don't don't do that. Yeah.
And how do you feel like not even how you feel like, what's something or some advice you can give to women and men that have gone through something like this and who are still either in denial or holding on to it? Like, how do you feel like could be their first step, or any advice at all?
I say allow yourself to feel sad about it. Like, literally, like, you gotta, like, sit down with yourself and be like, poor baby. Like, you gotta say to yourself, like, I'm sorry that happened to you. Like, that shouldn't have happened to you, no matter what the circumstances was. And also, if anyone has anything negative to say, or if they are going to victim blame, or if they're going to try to rationalize the other person, instantly discount what they're saying. What they say means nothing. Like, you got to say to yourself, I'm sorry that happened. That's a terrible thing that happened to you. It shouldn't have happened, but it did. Now, how are we going to be able to live with this? Because it's something you live with day to day, and it rocks you, and it takes the power from you. But what are you going to do to serve yourself and to give yourself that power back? Like, what steps are you going to take? Like, sometimes it's just self-care, and meditate, or put yourself in empowering situations, or
and that's how you coped with it, I'm guessing.
Yeah, like, I just had to say, like, all right, how am I going to make that never happen again? And it's fucked up because I said, how am I going to make that never happen again? And it happened again. So that's why I think that really affected me. But also know that you said no, and you shouldn't have to. And because a lot of people be like, why didn't you hit him? Why didn't you scream? Why didn't you kick? Know that if you calmly said no to him,
that's it.
You shouldn't have to scream. You shouldn't have to kick. You shouldn't have to yell. You shouldn't have to yell rape. Know that if you screamed, kicked, yelled, he would probably still have done it. And don't feel bad about, it's fight or flight. Don't feel bad about flight, because a lot of times what will happen to women is like I don't know this statistically, but I feel like a very small portion of women fight. I feel like a very small portion will scream, kick, yell, bite, hit.
And a lot of them get murdered.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're also thinking, what if this man kills me? So that's another, bro, I didn't even think about, thank you for bringing that up, because I didn't even think about that. So it's like, if he already is doing the act without your permission, and he knows he's doing it, he's a shitty enough person, he's still probably going to do it. If you scream, kick, and yell, and know that you shouldn't have to scream, kick, and yell. If you say no means that's no. You shouldn't have to do that, and don't let anyone discount your experience because of that. And also, don't make yourself feel guilty, like, oh, I could have done more. I could have stopped it. You couldn't have stopped it. It was going to happen regardless. And it's fucked up to say, but that makes it almost better. Because you don't want it. You already got power taken away. You feel guilty. You're traumatized. To take that onto yourself and to have other people push that onto you, like, just know it's a terrible situation, and that's that. It's just a terrible situation. Like,
I don't. It's too much. Like,
it's an ugly thing to look in the face. It's ugly, and you have to look at. And that's another thing. And that's another word of advice. You gotta take the ugly thing and look it in the face. You gotta look it in the face at least one time. I know I say I'm in denial about it a lot, but I've looked it in the face and I've been like, this happened. Now how am I gonna live with this?
Yeah. And like, how am I gonna move on?
Yeah, you can't deny it. It's always gonna be there, and it's just always gonna be there. You gotta deal with it.
Deal with it, yeah. Oh man. So all my ladies out there, and my men, I hope that you guys all find, the courage to sit down with yourselves and really
and be healthy.
And be reflect on yourself and find not even, just
find peace,
but also accept yourself, accept that this happened to you, but accept it with compassion, because this is not easy, and it's not something that anybody could really help you with all the way, and not something that I feel like, even though you can heal from it, you'll ever always be fully healed from. It's gonna be something that
it's always a little raw,
a little bit in the back of your mind, a little bit you always thinking of.
That's okay.
And it's okay. Like, like, it's not something that's widespread. It should be, and this is why, I did this episode, because I felt like, even in me asking this, and I on my Instagram, I usually always ask people, like, and my close friends and my ladies, I always have ladies on my close friends, I always ask them questions. I brought this up and I said I want to do an episode on this, and you were the only one that responded.
No way.
Wow. A couple of other people did, but they just said that they don't think that this would be something that they could talk about so openly and freely. And I 100% understand, because this is I don't relate, so I can't understand how heavy it would be to speak about something really trigger, like heavy. You said.
Like I'm a very open person, and I also like want to help, but I also, partly because of this, can detach myself from the situation. And disassociation is a coping mechanism that some people have, and that's for sure also a thing that survivors do. Is you disassociate, you pretty much are sitting outside your body, you disassociate. And even when like I'm at work and customers yell at me, I disassociate, I take myself out of my body. And it's it's your way for you to cope. You were the only one, so it's just like, I know this is such a heavy topic, and I know people are still coping with what happened, so they can't speak about it, but we need more people to speak about it, because this is something that is not gonna not ever happen. It's gonna it happens all the time, every day, all around the world. Even we don't know about it. At work, people get sexually harassed, people it's just like it's something that's always happening, constant. And I feel like and it doesn't have to be as heavy as rape.
No,
it could be those, like you said, those unwanted advancements. And that's still a terrible experience and a traumatic thing.
Even to just be touched,
and for it to be
spoken
normalized,
to, spoken to. Exactly. Even like when you said it, like when you told the cop and they told you, this common name, it's like, so you don't even care. Like, you're not even trying. You don't even want to
let me write a report.
Yeah, like you don't even want me to find the ends of means to this. Like,
and that also skews the reporting. Like, I know a lot of women don't report it. But I have that statistic. It says
less than 20% of women report their rape. So that's not a lot.
And this is one of the reasons.
That's one of the reasons. But it's because they don't feel like they're ever gonna be believed. And it's like,
what good is it gonna be?
And even I mean, this is a show, but it's Grey's Anatomy. But like one of the episodes, like a woman got raped, and even her doing the rape culture was too traumatic for her. Like them touching her where she's been grabbed, and taking swabs and like all that stuff. Like, it was traumatic for her, even in that sense.
And you have to
like,
talk about
it.
You
gotta talk so much. They're gonna ask you so much questions, and you gotta basically just relive that whole thing. And it's a lot. And I sympathize with everybody that's been through something like that.
Especially like after this, we gotta debrief. Like, you talk about it, and then those
emotions come back.
Emotions are right at the top of the water, and then it's like, all right, I need to need to breathe.
Maybe need to breathe to reel us back in. But like I said, I urged everybody to just if this has happened to you, like, definitely speak to somebody, speak to yourself. And I'm sorry. Yes, I don't even have words, because I don't understand why things like this happen. Like like it shouldn't even be a thing that we worry about. It shouldn't be a thing that we should worry about. So I'm always just like, when the whole Me Too movement happened, like, I was just very shocked. Like, I was just very like, wow, like this is really like something bigger than we thought, something bigger than anybody knew. Even the men that were speaking out too, I was like, wow, like, because you never think, like you said, that men don't want to not have sex, and it's like sometimes they don't. Like, and you can get raped as a man. A woman can rape you just like a man.
She can sexually harass you. Like men, these women grabbing your butts, grabbing your dick, grabbing your dicks. What?
Like, that is
a violation. That's a no square.
Like, especially if that's not somebody you fucking or something like that. Why would you just
a random woman?
I would never grab somebody's
and these
dick,
like oh my god, I see these like YouTube shows where it's like ha ha ha, and like this random girl is grabbing strangers' dicks, and I'm like, yo, that is sexual harassment. Are you serious?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah,
it is. But I just want to say thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
I don't even know. I don't even have like I don't have any words because I just feel like it's so, like I said before, it's so brave of you to come on and speak and even say what you said, you know, because it's just so widespread. It's just so much that happens, so many situations like this, you know, and some people are like just not ready to talk about it, or they don't even talk about it because they just want to forget it.
And I don't think you'll ever be. Also, I don't think you'll ever be ready to talk about it. Like, I wasn't ready to talk about it. I'm sure no one's ready to talk about it. You just have to do it. You just have to jump into the water.
Yeah. You just have to jump into the water. So we leave you with that remark, you know. Everybody just
be safe.
You know, always be aware and try your best to just, you know, as men, not even try your best, but as men, no is no. Women know is no as well, vice versa. And we just have to learn to respect each other's decisions. And we just have to learn that, you know, if somebody says no, they say no, and we don't always have to. It doesn't have to always be sex, and if that's that, then that's that. Like, we don't have to be. There's any convincing, there's any begging, and that's not the way it should be. Okay. You know, that's not okay. So I want to say thank you to my guest Lynette for coming on and being so brave and speaking about her situation. Because I'm just like in admiration that you're so, that you know that you have the strength to do that, because it's just a lot. And I hope this episode really helps some women and men out there that go on with this and deal with this, and just help you realize that you're not alone, and that there are other women and men that go through this, and other women and men who are healing just like you are. So
it gets better.
And it gets better.
It's
time
corny,
does
time
at
heals.
some point heals all. Yes. So thank you guys again for fucking with the kid and watching me. Thank you, Lynette, for coming on, and it's been wonderful this episode, and I hope everybody, you know, watches this with a heavy heart and just with compassion,
an open mind.
Yes. That's all.
Yeah, that's it.
I guess.